Hello students, myself Maitri Dave and today we are going to discuss about the brick masonry. So let us begin our today's lecture. So when we talk about the brick masonry, the first question that arises in our mind that what is it, right? So here I can say a brick masonry is made of brick units which are bonded together with mortar as shown in this figure, right? Now, the second topic under this brick masonry is the most important one, the terms used in the brick masonry. So, let us understand first the terms used in the brick masonry. See, this is an example of brick where this is the side which is known as the header. It means the shorter side, right? So, I can say a header is the shorter face of the brick. It means 9 centimeter by 9 centimeter as seen in the elevation of the wall. Now, the longer side is known as the stretcher. It means a stretcher is the longer face of a brick. It means 19 centimeter by 9 centimeter as seen the elevation of the wall. Now, this is the bed, the lower portion of the brick. So, bed is the lower surface of 19 centimeter by 9 centimeter of the brick when laid flat, right? Now, this is the arises. It means it is simply the edges of the brick, three edges of the brick. This is frog. So a frog is a mark of depth about 10 mm to 20 mm which is placed on the face of the brick to form a key for holding the mortar for proper bonding, right? Now there are so many terms in which the first one is lap. So lap is the horizontal distance between the vertical joints of successive brick courses as shown in this figure. Second is the perpend. It means perpend is an imaginary vertical line which includes the vertical joints separating two adjoining bricks, right? Next is the queen. It is a corner or the external angle on the face side of a wall. Next is the racking back. It means it is the termination of a wall in a stepped fashion as shown in this figure. Here you can see the stepped fashion is known as the racking back. Next is the toothing. It is the termination of a wall in such a fashion that each alternate course of an end project in order to provide adequate bond if the wall is continued horizontally at a later stage. Second term is closure. It is a portion of brick with the cut made longitudinally and is used to close a bond at the end of the course. From this closure, we can define another term which is queen closure. So, it is a portion of a brick obtained by cutting a brick lengthwise into two portions. Thus, a queen closure is a brick which is half as the width as the full brick. This is also known as the queen closure half as shown in this figure. Similarly, we can identify another term which is queen closure quarter. So when a queen closure is broken in two pieces is known as a queen closure quarter. Such a closure is thus a brick piece which is 1/4 of the brick size as shown in this figure, right? Now the next term is the king closure. So it is the portion of a brick which is so cut that the width of its end is half that of the full brick, while the width at the end is equal to the full width, right? As shown in this figure. From this, we derive another term which is beveled closure. So, it is a spatial form of a king closure in which the whole length of the brick, it means the stretcher face, is beveled in such a way that half width is maintained at one end and full width is maintained at the other end as shown in this figure. Last one is the metered closure, which is again a portion of a brick whose one end is cut splayed or metered for full width and the angle of splay may vary from 45 degree to 60 degree as shown in this figure. Next term is the bed. So it is the portion of a brick cut across its width. Thus a bed is smaller in the length than a full brick. From this we can derive half bed. It means if the length of the bed is equal to half the length of the original brick, we can define it as a half bed. Now let me give you another idea of 3/4 bed. So we can say it is the one having its length equal to the 3/4 of the length of the full brick. And the last one is the beveled bed. It means if a bed has its width beveled, it is known as beveled bed, as shown in this figure. With this, we have completed the terms. Now let us move to the brick bonding. So when we talk about brick bonding, we can say the first thing, what is brick bonding? So we can say bonding is a process of arranging bricks in courses or the layers with mortar to tie them together in a mass of brick wall. And after knowing the concept of it, first we have to understand some rules and then we will see some of the bonding, right? So for rules, I can say the first rule says the uniform in size, it means L must be equal to 2 times the width. Then lap should not greater than 1/4 of brick along length and lap should not greater than 1/2 of brick across the wall thickness. Third one says the brick bed should be avoided. Fourth one says the vertical joints in alternate course should be in vertical line. Fifth one says in thick wall stretches at facing and headers at hearting should be provided. And lastly, I can say at every sixth course, header on both the sides of wall should be avoided. So these all are the rules. After knowing the rules, we can go for the proper terminologies regarding the bonding. So let us see some different types of bonds. So basically, there are various types of bond available, up to 11 types, in which the first one is the stretcher, then the header one, then the English bond, Flemish bond, garden wall bond, facing bond, racking bond, Dutch bond, English cross bond, zigzag bond, and the brick on edge bond. So let us understand all one by one. So here, let me give you idea about first the stretcher bond. Here you can see a clear image of a stretcher bond in which I can say in a single layer. It means if you see the elevation portion, you can identify that every course contains only stretcher part of the brick. It means in the elevation we will see the stretcher portion only. By arranging the stretcher side in the elevation, we can get the stretcher bond. Now from isometric view, you will get idea for both the sides. And it can be available in the 135 course as well as 246 course, which is generally same because we are only focusing on the stretchers. Now next is the header bond. So again here you can see first thing in the elevation that we will see only the shorter span or the shorter length of brick in this elevation. It means the header portion of the brick. Now to discontinue the vertical joints to be in similar line or similar points, we have arranged in alternate courses the bed, the 3/4 bed. So from the isometric view, you will get the idea that the view will give us in such a way that we can only have the header from the front, but to eliminate the similar linings, we have utilized the bed at alternate courses. So here you will see the thickness of wall is higher than the stretcher bond. So when we need thicker wall, we will go for the header bond. When we need a thinner wall, we will go for the stretcher bond. Next is the English bond, the most important one. So here you can see a English bond where what happen, what is the arrangement in a single layer. What will happen? A stretcher course is there and in the alternate layer only header is there. It means alternate header and stretcher course is there. And again here we are going to use the queen closures to avoid that vertical line to be in same position. So here you can see the English bond where one layer having the stretcher, another having the header, having one queen closer, right? And alternating the similar pattern, we will get a wall of English bond. Here you can see an example of English bond for one brick wall. This is the example of 1.5 brick wall. And this is the example of 2 brick wall. But the concept is same. Only thickness changes. Next is the Flemish bond. Now when I talk about the Flemish bond, you can see clearly over here that in single layer, one stretcher and one header. One stretcher and one header. It means in a single layer, alternate header and stretcher arrangement is there. While in the English bond, in alternate layer, the header and stretcher arrangement is there, right? So here you can see that in single layer, the header and stretcher arrangement is there. Now, there are different types of Flemish bond, in which the first one is the single Flemish and second one is the double Flemish. Now, what happened over here in single Flemish bond, you will see in the front wall only the elevation in such a way that the header stretcher arrangement you can see. This is the example of single Flemish bond of 1.5 brick wall. But when I talk about the double Flemish bond, you will see in the front as well as in the back side the same arrangement. It means the look from both the sides is attractive and good. See, this is the single Flemish bond for true brick wall. But when I talk about the Flemish bond, here this is the example where both the sides from the front and back we will get the same imagination or same view. Now let me give you a clear idea about the English bond versus Flemish bond, right? So first thing is most important, in English bond, one layer of stretcher and another layer of header. It means alternate courses of stretcher and header. But in the Flemish bond, we can say that one course having alternate header and stretcher. So that is the most important thing. Second thing, when I talk about the strength here, English bond has good strength comparatively Flemish bond. But when I talk about the attractiveness, then Flemish bond is quite attractive than the English bond, because in the Flemish bond we can manage to have only face very attractive as well as face as well as back of the wall to be attractive, having two types of it, right? When I talk about the economy, English bond is cheaper because Flemish bond required skilled persons. When I talk about the ease of construction, again English bond is easy to construct because it doesn't require any skilled person or technique. As I said, that appearance in facing and baking is only possible in Flemish bond but not in the English bond. And when I talk about in hearting, it means we have to arrange or use some queen closers in the English bond, but in the Flemish bond we have to use queen closer as well as bat whenever it is required. So this is a clear difference between the English and the Flemish bond, which is most important. Now let us move to the next type, which is garden wall bond. So the arrangement of bricks in the garden wall is similar to that of the English bond, except that the heading course are only inserted at every 4th or 6th course wherever stretchers are used. In consequent courses, it means every 3rd, 5th and 7th. In short, the arrangement consists of one course of header and 3 courses of stretcher. The queen closer is placed next to the queen header of the heading course for give the necessary length. Now let us move to the 6th one, which is facing bond. It means the facing bond is used where the bricks of specific thickness are to be used in the facing and backing of the wall. In this bond, a header course is provided after several stretcher courses. As the thickness of brick is different in the facing and the backing, the vertical distance between the successive header courses is kept equal to the least common multiple of the thickness of backing and facing brick. That is, if the normal thickness of the facing brick is 9 cm and that of backing bricks is 10 cm, the header course is provided at a vertical interval of 19 cm. This type of bond is not structurally efficient and load distribution is not uniform as shown in this figure. Next type is the raking bond. So when I talk about the raking bond, in this type the bonding bricks are laid at any angle except 0 or 90 degrees. This type of arrangement help in increase in the longitudinal stability of thick walls built in the English bond. In this pattern of bonding, the space between all the external stretchers of a wall is filled using bricks inclined to the face of the wall. Racking bond is introduced at certain intervals along with the height of the wall. So there are two common patterns of this racking bond, the herringhorn bond and the diagonal bond. Let us understand different types of racking bond. So the first one is the diagonal one. So it is the base suited for walls of 2 or 4 brick thickness. The diagonal bond is normally introduced at every 5th or 7th course along with the height of the wall. Bricks in the type of bond are placed end to end in such a way that extreme corners of the sequence remains in contact with the stretchers as shown in this figure. But when I talk about the herringbone bond, this type of bond is suitable for very thick walls, usually not less than 4 brick thick. In this pattern of brickwork, bricks are laid in course inclined at 45° in two directions from the center. This type of bond is also commonly used for brick paving. Again, you can see this from this image. Now let us move to the eighth one, which is Dutch bond. So a modified form of the English bond, which consists of alternate courses of headers and stretchers, are known as the Dutch bond. In this arrangement of brick bond, every single stretching course begins at a queen with a 3/4 bend, as shown in this figure. Every alternate stretching course header set next to the 3/4 bed brick provided at the queen. This bond is perfect to construct strong corners along the walls which are subjected to excess loads. So that is the concept of Dutch bond. Now the ninth one is English cross bond. It means this is similar to English bond and consists of alternate courses of header and stretcher. However, in this method, queen closers are introduced next to the queen headers and each alternate stretching course has header placed next to the queen stretcher, as shown in this figure. This bond is sufficiently strong and bears a good elevation. Now let us move to the 10th one, which is zigzag bond. So this is similar to herringbone bond with the only difference that in this case the bricks are laid in a zigzag fashion. And this is commonly adopted in brick paved flooring as shown in this figure. Now the last type is the brick on edge bond. So this type of bond uses stretcher bricks on the edges instead of the bed. This bond is weak in strength but is economical. Hence it is used for garden walls, compound walls, etc. Bricks are kept standing vertically on end and the bricks are arranged as headers and stretchers in such a manner that headers are placed on bed and stretchers are placed on edges, thus forming a continuous cavity. Due to this, the bond consumes less number of the bricks as shown in this figure. So with this, we have completed all the types of brick bond, right? So in today's lecture, we have completed all the important topics in detail. Thank you for watching. See you soon in the next lecture.